All right, good afternoon, evening, and good morning, everyone. This is another episode of TnT Knows It All Sports. It's one of your co-hosts, Ty McGrath, and over there is my man.
What's up, everybody? Late evening, right before the draft episode. A lot of things to talk about. I'm,
Yep.
I'm gonna be fired up today on a couple of topics. Just forewarn you, but go ahead.
Yep. Well, nobody's gonna be more fired up than me because today, orange and blue skies, baby. Orange and
Oh
blue
yeah,
skies,
you said yeah. The Knicks. I mean, shit. They're probably having a party in Madison Square
Ooh.
Garden
Yep. So
right
the
now.
Knicks clinched today, so we'll talk a little bit about what's been going on in the NBA playoffs, but I'm extremely happy today. But yeah, we got a couple topics to discuss, and we're going to talk about a little bit about the draft, which again is tomorrow. Talk about some quarterbacks in the NFL, and then we're gonna do an NBA playoff recap again of what's been going on. Been great playoffs. I told you guys before. Even if you're not an NBA fan, you want competition. This has been such a great first round thus far, and it's still going on.
Oh yeah.
Yep. So, all right. Well, first, let's start off with the first topic, which is we're going to talk a little bit about the draft,
Yeah.
uh, and just getting you guys highlights of the draft. So the draft starts tomorrow or Thursday, April 27th. If you're watching this after, then you'll see the draft. So draft first round is on Thursday. Then you have rounds 2 and 3 on Friday evening, and then the rest of the draft on Saturday. I personally do not like this format
Yeah, me
because
too.
I don't understand why we're dragging this out for 3 days. But again, it's entertainment purposes. I like the good old days. It was 2 days, you know.
Right.
You get the first, second, third round one day, and the rest of the draft the next. I'm like, knock it out. Now I got it's this whole thing, so I might not even let watch tomorrow. I'll just see what happens, because one of the things that we're gonna be looking for is that Saturday might seem long and boring, but that's kind of the day, like Thomas said last episode, where people make their mark. You get those real football players in that fourth through seventh round.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so a couple things I think Thomas, a couple things I'm looking forward for in this draft, even though tomorrow is the first round. I'm actually looking to see what moves people make for, some of these impact players because I don't believe there's I actually like I said the first time, I don't think there's like 40 impact players or something in this draft. I
No.
don't It's not that deep a draft in my opinion. You'll get good football players, but not like, oh, this guy's like the truth.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting to see how teams view it and say, okay, well, if I know I can't get like Will Anderson, maybe I can get like three guys that are good to build my depth and move down. I'm using Will Anderson as an example, but some teams might be in the middle of the draft and say, yeah, I could get this lineman, or I could trade down and get three, fill a lot of holes. So I'm gonna be interested to see what some of the GM's philosophies are in this draft.
Right. Right. And what also is interesting is this draft is all over the damn place, right? Because it's
Hmm.
just because there's probably maybe 10, like I was saying before, 8 to 10 players that are going to be studs. Just,
Hmm.
you put them on the field, you're going to be studs, right? And then there's a lot of what I call like the Luke Van Ness. You're
Yeah.
like, he does well. He looks like he went to Yale, right? If you ever see his picture, he's a guy that wasn't even a starter part time, but now he's
Right.
going up the drafts,
Right.
which I find interesting, right? So over, especially like, and then you see guys like Miles Murphy, who
Mhm.
was a bona fide top five pick in the preseason. Now he slipped. He's all over the place. I saw a mock draft with the Bills had him at
Yeah.
27, which is weird. But it's one of those drafts that, once you get past 12, you're rolling the dice. And
Yep.
a lot, and it's one of those, is a draft that, like I told you, reminds me of the EJ Manuel. Well, not EJ Manuel per se, but I'm talking about the
That's
depth, like
yeah.
more in the third, fourth, fifth rounds, because the positions are not what I call the glory positions. The tight end, right?
Hmm.
And the running back position actually is one of the strongest ones. So
Yep.
the two positions that people don't like to draft in the first round are probably your
The
strong
best positions. Yep.
best position. And the O line is that's where I hope the Bills don't do it. There's a lot of reaches.
Yeah.
It's a lot of
Yeah.
reaches.
Yeah.
So and wide receiver, this might be the worst wide receiver when we call it talent we've seen in a while. Just
Hmm.
because I mean they have all over the place. You got Jackson, then you have Quentin Johnson fell off. I don't know. He was supposed to be like a top 10 pick.
Hmm.
Zay Flowers, Jordy Anderson. Now they're worried about how slim he is. Can he? It's just all over the place. So it's
Yep.
interesting to see.
I will say one thing about this pre-draft. I think a part of it is we're in the 24-hour media news cycle.
Right,
I was like, some of these things, like, did all of a sudden did something happen between March and now that this player became a different player than you saw before? It's just like all of a sudden this guy's dropping all through the draft.
uh,
I was like, well, what happened? I'm not saying this isn't true,
right,
but I do think some of this is hyperbole, and they don't know.
right,
And especially this draft. Most of the mock drafts, like I was looking at one of the guys, Daniel Jeremiah or whatever, in the NFL Network. He
right.
got three draft picks correct in their position last year on his mock draft. Three. So,
Yeah,
it-
yeah,
you know,
he's interesting.
And Mel's pretty good, but he got like eight. So I'm
Well,
just saying, like, you don't know the
right,
teams. There's gonna be, and I think the trades too is part of it. They're like,
right,
well, trades, we don't know about trades. I'm like, well, that tells you that the guys that you think are really that great are not that great.
right. And this is the first year that you saw multiple teams with first round picks.
Yeah,
So and then you got the Eagles who have the 10th pick, right? So I mean
yeah.
they went to the Super Bowl, but you got Detroit, which
Hmm.
is interesting because Detroit actually has the Rams pick. They thought the Rams were gonna be end, but Detroit, Seattle, the Texans,
Yeah,
and then you also got Philly. That's four. Then technically the Steelers have the first pick in the second round. That's like having a first round pick.
yeah,
It's interesting. But what also I find interesting in draft, like my last point is I can't stand mock drafts. And the
yeah,
reason why I can't stand is because you have to know everybody's war room
yeah.
to get it right. Okay.
Right, right,
Once you get I can see 10, you get a 10, but once you get to 10, it's roll of the dice.
right.
You know who's gonna be like for example, uh uh well the Raiders, if they who know they pick it, right? The Raiders, they
Hmm.
when they had those two, three picks in the draft, they were all over the place, right?
Yeah.
With just guys that John Abraham, which were the surprise they picked them.
Mm.
No one had a mock draft first round, but they had three picks in the draft, so they just did it. So
Yeah,
I I can't stand mock drafts, right? So
yeah.
it's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna predict that there's gonna be a major surprise like like a Christian Gonzalez being picked three. You never know, something weird like that is going to be,
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
and then also here's a last nugget. I'll leave it because one of our friends is a big Florida fan. Ty, do you know how many in the last 10 years Florida players got picked from the first to the third round? Do you know how many of them have Pro Bowls in 10 years, the last 10 years? And
Zero?
the answer is zero.
Yeah.
Actually, Florida is actually bust you. Look it
Yeah.
up. CJ
Yeah.
in the first round picks, besides last year, we'll take Kylie Elam out.
Yeah.
CJ Henderson, right? I was going
Yep.
down a list of stuff.
Tony.
Tony, there's Tony.
Uh,
The offense
who's the
was
tight
that?
end? The tight end they had? That was good.
Oh, Kyle, the Pitts.
Yeah, Kyle Pitts. So
Yeah, yeah.
so he might
Oh, sorry, one. Yeah, you're right.
yeah,
I was
so
like,
Kyle Pitts. I was like, yeah, he was he
oh, what? We're not read the article. They said zero. Okay, so they
yeah.
forgot Kyle Pitts. Was he?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't pro.
I
Yeah, he
don't
was.
think I don't know if he was a Pro Bowler though. I mean, but he's Pro Bowl potential. I don't think
Yeah,
he was a
yeah.
Pro Bowler because he's also in the you got
Yeah, true, true. That Kyle
yeah.
Pitts, but they're talking about Juwan Taylor. They're talking
Mm,
about one of the bus was they're just going on a list and said on my entries Anthony Richardson. They're like,
hmm.
oof, the Florida players are not they don't do well in the draft, but
Yeah,
Joe shot him.
yeah, no, that's funny. It
But
would be
you're right.
interesting.
Kyle Pitts wasn't a Pro Bowler, so
Yeah.
you are. Yep, no. So the stat is right. But go. Yep.
Yeah, but still, I mean, that's kind of, I mean, to your point, that's not very good.
Yeah,
But
they're Florida. I was surprised. They talk about the last 10 years, like because they're talking about Andrews Richardson. So
yeah.
yeah,
All right, cool. Well, I'm really interested to see. Again, I just want these players to get picked. I'm not really that hyped and like have a draft party. I don't really care
yeah,
about that. Like
yeah.
the
And it's
guy,
in Kansas City. Who
yeah,
cares?
I know. I would go for the barbecue.
Right,
The barbecue is fire.
right.
But all right, so next thing we want to talk about is we'll talk about some of these quarterbacks. We had a couple deals that has happened, and a couple people have not gotten those deals. So,
Right.
Thomas, I will let you kick
Yeah.
this off and let us know your thoughts on this.
Well, the first deal is Jalen Hurts, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what's interesting is I mean, is Russell really a mobile quarterback? But the last 2 years, mobile quarterbacks have been getting paid, right? Murray, which to me was probably one of the worst contracts. Even before that, I wouldn't. I don't know. The guy just doesn't look like he really wants to play football at times. He got paid famous Russell Wilson contract, right? 160 million. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
Wilson was 161 million. Kyler Murray was 159, and then Jalen Hurts had signed a contract. And I only talk guarantee money, guys, because I hate the loaded contracts. Perfect
Mm-hmm.
example, Von Miller. He's not getting 120 million for 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so you got to look at a guarantee money.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts got 179 million guarantee. Joe Burrow's about to break that. He probably get 200 and 190, and Herbert and last year. But a person that and Aaron Rodgers got paid too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen got paid. Am I missing any quarterback? Oh yeah, I am missing a quarterback. His name is Lamar Jackson. Let me talk about him for a second. All right. We have friends in other chat rooms,
Yeah.
and this topic has been a very very hot off the press topic.
Mm.
And I'm bringing it on our podcast because I'm sick and tired of having a conversation behind closed doors, and I really want to bring this conversation out.
Mm-hmm.
Let me start off with Lamar Jackson. To me, is not a great quarterback. I'm just gonna be real, guys. I know he's not. He's just not really. He's a good player. Okay, he's a good player. He's actually, I'm sorry, a great player, MVP. But at the quarterback position, where you have to throw the football, all right, folks, throw the
Mm-hmm.
football. Lamar Jackson, and I don't want to hear it from you guys, like my all injuries and everything, had 1 year over 3,000 yards. That was his MVP year, which he had a great year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the way, how many yards did he have passing in the playoff game that he lost to Tennessee Titans? Okay, the man has one playoff win in 5 years or 4 years, and one playoff win in the 4 years is a 66 quarterback rating in the playoffs where you get paid, right?
Mm.
Unless you're Aaron Rodgers, right? Because they'll pay him, but where you get paid. And I don't want you to compare to Josh Allen. I don't want to compare to like all these other guys
Well,
that
Josh Allen's won more playoff games than
true, and his quarterback rating.
and actually beat Lamar Jackson, but we won't
True.
go there. We won't go there.
Well, yeah, Tyrone Johnson scored, but Lamar Jackson. So, and guys, I don't want to bring up the Pro Football Focus stats. I can do that all day. I'm watching the eye football. Okay, if Mark Jackson is not, I'm sorry, if Mark Andrews is not open, Mark Jackson is basketball, but Mark Andrews is not open. He can't pass the ball. Well, what about wide receivers? Oh, I forgot they had a guy named Hollywood Brown. I know he dropped a few balls, but he left because he wasn't getting the ball. All right, and then so and then all they do is run. Now, what about the system? Well, guys, I hate to say it to you guys over and over again. There's something up there that wants them to start running I'm sorry, have them run the ball all the time and not pass. They're watching the game. Jim Harbaugh is probably thinking, "Hey, Lamar is just not a pocket quarterback. We're not going to win. We got to run. So
Mm,
when he runs, he's going to get hurt, right?
mm,
So we're going to invest some money. Lamar had a chance to win some money. What messed it up was he, for some reason, oh, I forgot he doesn't have an agent, so he can't mess it up because he has to think for himself. So he doesn't have an agent. So for some reason, his mama pat him on the back, say, "Hey, Lamar, you know what? You deserve the Deshaun Watson money. You're awesome. You're great. You got a 2019 MVP. You won one playoff game. You look like crap against Tennessee Titans. You look like crap against the Buffalo Bills. But hey, you're great, son. Get that Deshaun Watson money. But Cleveland
Mm,
messed that up. Then not only did he wanted the Deshaun Watson money. What also messed it up is Russell Wilson got paid, and we saw him
hmm.
shit the bed, right? Kyler
Yeah.
Murray got paid.
Yeah.
But what's weird is why did Jalen Hurts get paid? I guess he's younger, but Lamar didn't get paid. There's
Hmm.
something, and it's called an agent, Lamar. Okay, an agent. Get one. An agent will tell you stop wearing ski masks and Oakley glasses on the sideline, looking like you'd have to rob a damn bank. Okay, speak better at the podium, like Jalen Hurts, right? Cut his
Hmm.
hair, well, clean cut individual.
Hmm.
You look like you in a rap video. I'm surprised you're not in a video with AB in Florida on a video. I'm just saying, you don't look nice on the eyes. You don't hear.
Kodak Black
Yeah,
over there.
Kodak Black. So you're not great at PR. And then what makes it worse is that you're the most sensitive person. You're fighting people on Twitter that for what reason? Because they said something about you, insulted him, and he had to go to media. You're just not doing well. So you're not doing well in the playoffs, winning games in the playoffs, because that's the most important part, right, Todd? That's where you get paid. Yeah,
Yep.
quarterbacks get paid for the playoffs, unless you're
Yep.
Aaron Rodgers. Unless you're Aaron Rodgers, you get paid for the playoffs. You're not really a great PR guy. You're not, I mean, I don't know how a teammate is, but from the outside looking in, I don't know. Um, People said you could have played. You could have played. And what makes it even worse, and I'll pass it off to you, Ty, and you can talk. Just gotta talk about, but I got to talk about Lamar, and I'll talk Aaron after you. But
Yeah.
Tyler Huntley almost beat the Bengals.
Mm.
Tyler Huntley, and he was a Pro Bowler, by the way. But that was but I'll joke around. But
Yeah.
Tyler Huntley, actually, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna get ridiculed and probably people comment. Looks better as a passer than Lamar. I'm gonna say it. That does. So it looks better as a passer than Lamar. To me, looks better as a passer than Lamar, guys.
Wow.
Just gonna say it. But go ahead.
Man, Tom Woo came. Thomas is coming. He was like,
Right, right.
He's firing. Yeah. Oh, that's a lot to unpack. All right. So I don't really know where to start. I'll start with parts that I can agree on. One, I'm not a person that you just do what everybody else does because everybody else is doing it, right? Like you can be your own leader and all this stuff, except for when it don't work. If
Right.
something works, then you should use it especially if you're trying to achieve the same goal as everybody else. And what I mean is an agent. Like I wouldn't want, that's like, here's how I'd look at it. Like I would love to sell my house without getting a real estate agent. I would love to do that. I probably could, but it would be a pain and I probably wouldn't get as much money because I don't have all the resources and all the things to put these things out there. It's not fair, right? Like I should be able to do that. I should be able to sell it for myself as an owner and do all the stuff, but it's not easy to do that. It would take me 10 to 12 months where I could put an agent out there and it'll be like 2 months, which I want to get out. That's kind of like this contract. You shouldn't be negotiating because they're gonna say things in negotiations that make you feel a certain way, and now you're sensitive. Oh, oh, you can say I'm not a passer. Yeah, whatever. I'm gonna look at these numbers, and it doesn't mean they're right. They're just comparing you to everybody else. They're trying to give you market value. Agents can understand that. So Jalen Hurts getting paid is a slap in the face to Lamar because he clearly could have gotten paid. And I know people are like, well, how do you know? Here's how I know. Because everybody that else that has an agent has gotten paid besides Lamar Jackson. And then all of a sudden, the Baltimore Ravens, it was probably one of the best organizations in football. All of a sudden, they don't know how to be a good organization now. Like we just in this situation, they don't know how to be a good organization. Like that. Let's just and again, I'm not always for organizations, but in this case, it's very clear to me. So that part I agree on. He's messing up. The other part I will say a little bit. I do think Lamar is better than what you're saying. He wasn't that great a passer. He's gotten better. I have seen it, like, because I was very, very critical on him. I'm like, look, man, you need to be able to pass the ball. He's gotten a lot better at passing. That being said, he's still not top 10 passer,
Right.
but he's probably like 12. But his running ability is like top one. So then you put those together, then he's a top five quarterback, or no, I don't know, not five, but I don't know if he's, I actually don't think he's top five quarterback, but he's a top 10 quarterback for sure.
Right.
But he shouldn't be getting Deshaun Watson money. Deshaun shouldn't be getting Deshaun Watson money. Like,
Yeah.
be
Cleveland.
reasonable.
It's
So
Cleveland.
so so like I don't know what he's going to do now because he drew this whole fit, and do you go back? Like, I mean, I think he kind of has to go back. He's like, oh, just trade me. Someone's gonna want me. Nobody's traded for him. He is actually available now. People can talk to him. Not one team has come forward.
Because
What
it
does that
counts.
tell you? Does that tell you
Right.
that Baltimore is the bad people, or they're like, all right, dog, like we kind of, oh, it's collusion, collusion. And if I know collusion, they will get somebody that just killed someone, literally ran somebody off, ran
Ray
over
Lewis.
somebody, right, and ran somebody over with their car, and like Dante Stallworth, and he will be playing on Super Bowl Sunday. You know why? Because they want to win. They don't care.
Right.
Lamar
Right.
didn't even do anything that bad. So there's no collusion.
Mhm.
It's not collusion.
Right.
It's just not. So all this media people talking about, look, these people are dumb. You just pay him all this money. Nah, man. But everyone, it's a pecking order. He should be right now. He should be begging for the Jalen Hurts contract. Like, yeah, I'll take that,
Oh
and
yeah, bro.
and that'd be good for him because it's not a ridiculous contract, and I think that's reasonable for Lamar. I think that's actually the contract he should get. So
Yeah.
so
180.
so I don't know what's gonna happen with him. I think he's gonna end up. Unfortunately, he's gonna have to sign the franchise tag, which is less than
Mm-hmm.
if he would have got the exclusive one
Right.
because they knew they couldn't do they were like, okay, we would do the exclusive with you, but you say you don't want to be there, so we're gonna give you a non-exclusive.
Right.
Go ahead. Now, but a non-exclusive is like $10 million or $7 million less a year.
Right.
So now you actually lost money. So
Mm-hmm.
he better sign the deal. He needs to sign a deal, play with Odell Beckham. Sign a 1 year deal then. Fine. 2 year deal. Sign a two, I think you should sign a 2 year deal for you know, $80 million or $85 million or something. And so you're gonna get your game and they'll give it to you guaranteed at that point. They're like, fine,
Right.
take your guaranteed 85 mil. We don't care.
Right. He got a 3 year, 130,
Yeah,
33
I know.
million
3 year,
guarantee.
133. And he was like, no, I don't want it. All
Right.
right, man.
Fully guarantee.
But
You know what's crazy, Ty, is that the reason that people are saying that the reason why no one signed him is because of the draft capital, because they would have to give to. Well, we just heard that this draft's not that great, so I don't know. His demands, and then on top of agent, perfect example. And first off, like it's not a race thing because now the top three quarterbacks get paid. Well, technically, Patrick Mahomes too. So four out of the I'm sorry, five out of the seven are black quarterbacks. Just throwing it out there, guys. So not collusion, not collusion.
no, that's good.
so,
It
so
sounds cute though. It sounds
right, right,
cute
right,
though.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
I hear it from the media like whatever. But Daniel Jones was in negotiation. I think of the group was CIA or the CIA group or he was in negotiation. He was not happy. Fired his coach and went to athletes first
Hmm.
and got a 4 year, $160 million. But Daniel Jones got 40 million a year. I mean, that just tells you everything. The man had 15 passing touchdowns last year. Got $40 million
Right.
because he fired his agent, got a new one, and was able to negotiate.
Yep. There's like you said,
That,
there's so much precedent out there for him to be getting plenty of money. He can get money. And so it's like they're like they just don't want to pay him. I'm like, that's not true. I think they would pay him. It's clearly the market is set. If he
yeah,
was going to the market value, they would pay him, but he's not. They're trying to skip. And I
right,
understand in like 3 years, the contract he signed this year will not be worth what it will be in 3 years, which is
right,
why I wouldn't don't sign a 5 year contract. No one says
yeah,
you have to do that. Sign a 2 year, sign a
right,
3 year, and
right,
then in 3 years you can renegotiate. I
right.
mean, that's what I would do.
Right. I'm not a fan. I
Yeah.
just he against the Dolphins he couldn't close it. The Bills he couldn't close it. Jacksonville he closed. I don't know. Whenever I
Yeah.
watch him play, that's not a fan. But
Yeah.
and then Aaron Rodgers, real quick on Aaron Rodgers,
Yeah. Real quick.
the Jets are gonna be good. Well, I think Aaron's gonna do well. The Jets were already good. They were 7 to
Hmm.
10. Really, honestly, they should have been 8 and 9, but they just didn't
Yeah.
care the last game. So
Right.
it'll be good. We'll talk more about it, but I think
Yeah.
we'll see. But it's gonna be
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, and we decided everyone we did talk about Aaron Rodgers, so
Yeah, that's it. That's good.
yeah, that's about it because it finally happened. So I didn't really want to care about anything, but it happened. Jets will be all right. I was talking to somebody today about that. I think the Jets are going to be like the Dolphins were last year, good, but just a notch below the top teams. Just
Yeah.
6, 7,
Right, right.
8 fighting to get in
Yeah.
place. I don't think they're Super Bowls.
Apparently they're the fourth best Super odds in Vegas. I don't know why, but yeah.
Let's see. It's Cowboys always top odds, and we don't even get it to. We haven't been in NFC Championship games since
Well,
1996.
but I'll tell
So
you this: since Aaron Rodgers left the NFC, Dak Prescott may be the second best quarterback in the NFC.
yeah, no, which is
Throwing out there,
sad.
but right.
Ugh, it's sad. All right, well, enough about football. It was good football stuff, but on to the next topic, which is the NBA. And if you can't see, reach on my shoulder. This is how much I love the NBA. I am watching it. That's why I'm here in a different view than you guys are used to seeing me. Got the Bucks Heat playing right now. And I will say this. I mean, we'll go through all of them really quick, but I was completely wrong on this series. Now, did I know that Giannis was going to be hurt? No, I did not. So that's part of it. But I mean, the Heat being up 3-1 and they're
Right.
down 6 points right now in the fourth quarter. Like this is insane. I didn't see it coming. I mean, it just tells you how fragile people are and injuries and stuff like that. But much
Yeah.
props to the Heat. They're such a great franchise, and I can say this. And now I have love to have this platform because I've been saying this for years, and I think the discussion's probably over. Like top 5 players I would want to have on my team in the NBA. Jimmy Butler's completely on that list. He's on that list. I've been saying that for years. I've been criticized. I don't care about your favorite star. You put them up against Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler's doing at least what they're doing, if not more,
Right.
in the playoffs. Now in the regular
Right.
season, he doesn't seem to care, or he's like, I get everybody else involved. Like he's like, oh, I really want to step up this game against Orlando. He doesn't care about that, right? Like, but you put him up against LeBron in the bubble, Tatum and Brown. He was murdering those guys last year. I mean,
Oh yeah.
Kawhi. People forget when he was in Philly, he was supposed to be like the third or fourth option, which is why if you look at his numbers, you see the inconsistency because he's not the guy usually on those teams. But when he was like, all right, Philly, Embiid's clearly not ready. Ben is being Ben. Give me the ball. I will take us there. He won
Right.
like he won 3 of the games in that series for them.
Yep.
Like he is that guy. He is that guy. And so
Jimmy
Milwaukee is seeing
buckets.
it. Yep. Milwaukee is seeing that right now. And we'll see. So that series is 3-1, and maybe by the time this thing is over, this game will be over, but I doubt it. So we'll see what happens going forward. You got
Hmm.
any comments on this series at all, or not really?
I mean, I think Giannis injury just threw it off.
Yeah.
They're just and Chris Middleton should give all his money back after this series. My God, man. You got Brooke Lopez is 34 years old out there hooping. Like,
Yeah, I know.
but yeah, so
Can I say one thing though? What's interesting, I've been listening to people. They were like, everybody was picking the Bucks as the favorite, not me, because you heard they were not my favorite. Um, and all of a sudden, all the people that are picking the Bucks as favorite, they're like, well, the Bucks actually aren't really that athletic. I know what that not athletic means,
yeah,
in
right,
that
right,
sports terms, right? Because now all of a sudden, Grayson Allen and Pat Connaughton can't play basketball, but they were the same key guys that you were on the team when you
right.
said that they were going to win.
Right, right, right.
which I
And don't forget Ingles too. You know,
right,
they
Joe
had him.
Ingles. Yes. And they're like, "Oh, we got this huge pickup with Jay Crowder." I'm like, "I don't Jay Crowder is not
He hasn't been playing, bro.
of course not, because he's a liability. He's not that great." I
Right,
was like,
right,
Wesley Matthews and Jay Crowder are your big signings? Like, I mean, you weren't fooling me. I was like, they're not.
right.
They might get to the Eastern. They still might get to the Eastern Conference Finals, but they're not
Yeah,
beating Boston,
they're
in my
both
opinion.
yeah, they got an old team, bro. Like,
Yep.
but Chris Middleton, I'm gonna give him kudos today. He played
Yeah.
28. He's 28 points now, but
Yeah.
trash when Giannis was out. So,
Yeah. I know.
but
All right. So that's the first series. The other one, which really quick, I could talk about it forever. But the Knicks, again, I mentioned it earlier. Knicks 1-5.
we both called it. I didn't think it would win 4-1, but I
Yeah.
mean,
So I think I might. I don't even remember. I was trying to think. Did I actually say who's gonna win? Like,
you
there's
said
no.
Knicks.
Yeah. Actually, I don't. I think I might have said Cavs. And the reason,
Really?
but I said here's how the Knicks were gonna win.
Oh, okay.
And exactly what happened is what, like I said, the Knicks will have to be able to rebound the ball well, which they destroyed them on the rebounds.
Oh, yeah.
And the factor would be the third player for the Cavs, whoever that would be. If they don't do and if they control, they don't do anything, then the Knicks will win. And that's what happened. They could never find a third player. Karis LeVert had one good game, and they won that game.
And Mobley really didn't.
Mobley wasn't there.
Right.
Allen,
Yeah.
our front court did well. And Tom Thibodeau was the other X factor, and he actually adjusted. Like he benched Julius Randle in game 4 and left Obi Toppin in, which was great. And then today, Randle got hurt, so he had to put Toppin in, which was the best thing that could happen for them because he's athletic and we get easier baskets when we get out because Randall likes to hawk the ball up. But very proud of those guys. I did go to game 2, their loss. I sacrificed the loss for my team. I'm extremely happy. It was tough,
All
but
right. Right.
but
Uh, It was. I mean, I call the Knicks. I'd say for the Knicks to win the series, I thought Game 1 was the key. That's what I
yeah,
remember seeing because I watched our. Sometimes go back to tape and just hear if I was on.
yeah.
One game I was really off, but we'll talk about in a minute.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I was gonna
But
go there too.
yeah, but again, you might see part 2 of me going off on players, but go ahead.
Yeah.
This is the next one.
So that'll be the next round. Be the Knicks are waiting for the next one, which is Bucks Heat. So then the other bracket, it is we'll go through this quick. And Thomas was right. We both were right on who was going to win, but Thomas was way right on the series, and that was the Brooklyn Philly. I thought Brooklyn was going to win a game, maybe possibly squeeze out two. They had a chance to win a game, but they choked it away. And I'll leave this to you, Thomas. You were 100% correct. I
Yeah.
knew we knew there's no way Brooklyn was going to beat Philly in the series. Like there was zero chance of that. But
Right,
I didn't
right.
expect them to get swept because Brooklyn. I mean, they competed even in the 4 games. They competed. They just couldn't
I
get over the top.
well, I mean, first I knew that Brooklyn was doing well because the first they didn't have answered and Embiid, right?
Right.
And then Maxi, my goodness
I
gracious,
know.
right? I don't
I
know if he
know.
wants just comes on the playoffs, that's when he wants to go,
Yeah,
but
man.
when Harden was out, when he got ejected on the BS,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
He came,
Yep.
yeah, you guys see what my man's doing? He's like, James who? I got this, and he hit the three. So he did well. Again, the play I mentioned before, playoffs, this is where superstars come out.
Hmm.
Okay. Miles Bridges is not a superstar is going to come out, just being honest.
Yeah.
Where was Ben Simmons? Did he play in the series?
No, Ben, yeah, Ben Simmons has got back issues again, and
Okay.
he was out. He won't. He was going to be out
Oh,
for the remainder of the season.
I know. I've just been so Ben Simmons, James Harden, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving. Wow, I mean, the Nets are just like are the Nets. I don't know what even team to call them. They've got so many superstars, but
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, we won't talk about it. Just
Yeah,
the Maxi. If Maxi plays like that, oof, their Philly's gonna be a
yeah,
tough out. I mean,
yeah. They're gonna just have to. Embiid got hurt. He got
we're
hurt
not
game 3.
surprised. I'm glad.
Yeah, yeah, no, that is kind of his MO. So they do need him.
Right.
So they await the winner of the next series, which is Boston Atlanta.
Yeah.
Thomas again
I mean,
Ray Thomas was on it. He was we Thomas in his thing he ripped Atlanta apart for legit reasons. Was
right.
like, yo, they're so talented, which we both agreed. But would they be able to show up, and why can't they show up consistently? And I have to give Atlanta credit. I mean,
Me
I
too.
thought they'd win a game, and then that's it. And it looked like it for most of yesterday, but Ice Trey or Trey DeBarge is what I like to call him, because he got the little DeBarge thing going.
Oh yeah.
Um, he stepped up, man, that fourth quarter in game five. And so now the series is 3-2 Boston going back to Atlanta for game six. So what do you think? Do you think Atlanta's gonna be able to extend this to seven? Or do you
No,
think
I mean
Boston?
they got yesterday. Boston just decided to be, like I mean they Atlanta look good. I will see.
Hmm.
I'll tell you right now, Sadiq Bey is becoming that trade might be a underrated trade.
Hmm.
He's actually hooping. And his defense is so there's stuff you won't see in the stat line, right?
Yeah.
His defense is actually pretty good, right? I mean, I was surprised how good he is defensively.
Yeah.
I'm obviously Hunter is the main guy they got.
Yeah.
Um, but we'll see how we'll see. I don't. This Atlanta is the most
Yeah.
interesting NBA team.
No, I
There is
know.
just there's so much talent on the team. I mean,
Yeah.
they literally got a starting lineup on the bench. Like, are they going to be a great starting lineup? No, but they probably could beat the Rockets, right? Or Detroit. The bench
Mm-hmm.
is. I don't know what Atlanta team you get. Am I going to get the Atlanta team in game two, where just
Mm.
people are just kind of whatever's going on, or
Yeah.
Atlanta yesterday in the fourth quarter,
Yeah.
and just pick and roll, ISO, Trey getting the ball.
John
Uh,
Collins,
yeah,
man,
John Collins was
he was
hoop. I was
hitting
going to say his name.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's
And then John Collins, Bogdan,
Yeah, Bogey
Bogdan,
Bogdanovich. Yep.
yeah, Bogdanovich. He was hooping. So it was good. We'll see. Clint Capella was. I was like,
Yeah,
okay, look at Clint.
I know.
But we'll see. It's. I think Boston winning next game, and then I mean it's in Atlanta, right? The next game, right?
Yeah, it's in
Yeah.
Atlanta.
Yeah, yeah. So, ooh. Hey,
Yeah, I know. It's gonna
oh, yeah, I
be
forgot.
tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah, they let me tell you this: the city of Atlanta didn't think they're going to go far because they booked Janet Jackson at the same arena. They double booked guys. So,
Yes.
so the city of Atlanta, but just
Miss Jackson, if you're nasty. No, joke. But no, I feel bad. I do feel bad for um a lot,
right. I mean,
For I was thinking about it, like if you're a Janet Jackson fan, you know how long that concert probably been there for a long time. You could have
right, right,
people could be coming come all over the South to come see Janet. Now you gotta get a hotel and you gotta stay another night because of
right.
the Hawks. But anyway, so yeah, so we'll see what happens in that series. I think Boston's gonna win it too, but I don't know if it's gonna go seven. It might. Uh,
Yeah,
it's not because I feel confident and really quick because I don't want to spend that much time on Boston because I don't like either one of these teams.
right.
Just in theory, even though I do like Boston's players. But the thing that is frustrating me as a basketball fan is why did Boston lose last year? Because of poor decision making, turnovers at the end of games, and lack of point guard play. So, you know what they did? Smart thing. Let's trade and get Malcolm Brogdon. Sixth man of the year, extremely efficient, high assist guy, low turnover guy. Where's Malcolm Brogdon at the end of the game? He's
On the
on the
bench.
bench.
Yeah, with the
What
white.
are you doing?
Right.
Why is Marcus Smart or not so smart sometimes on the court? He doesn't make really good decisions. And then you're now leaving it to Tatum and Brown to make decisions, and that's not what they do. So, hey, Boston, you guys want to continue doing that and be dumb? Great. Hopefully, you can continue doing that in the playoffs. Maybe if you see the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals, you'll continue to do that as well, so we can get to the finals. That would be great. But if you are smart, you would not do this. So, anyways, that's the frustrating part. All right, so over to the West. Um, we've got a couple series that are done. So let's start with the really quick, the Denver Minnesota series.
Yeah.
Um, 4-1 Denver. Minnesota compete after the first game. They got annihilated. The
Hmm.
last four games, they were really close games. They competed. They're just shorthanded. And like I said before when we were doing the preview, I think if Minnesota had all their players, I think they would have beat Denver. And you can see it. Like they were close. They just don't have enough depth. They played like six or seven guys. I mean,
Right.
when Austin Rivers is trying to give you quality minutes, you know you're not gonna get a win in the playoffs. So um
I
so
mean, at least
Denver won. Yeah.
I think at least Minnesota won a game.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. The injuries affected it, right? And
Hmm.
then Minnesota, Minnesota's not Atlanta because there's they got talent, but they got
Right.
to figure out what they're gonna do with Carl Anthony Towns. They got to
Yeah.
just figure it out. Is he? Because you're gonna need, and again, in NBA you want a centerpiece, right? So,
Hmm.
and it's gonna be to me it's Anthony Edwards without a question. He's your to me it's your guy. And then do you trade? So last year they could have traded Towns for like Collins and some other players in
Hmm.
Atlanta, right? So
Hmm.
do they do that? But I'm just so over Cat. Right? He's so soft. I have not. That man is softer than my baby's diaper, man. After you change it, my man is so.
I know.
He frustrates because he's uberly talented. He played good
Yeah.
yesterday,
Yeah.
but you know what, guys? Congratulations to Denver for finally making it past a round. Okay, they're winning a series.
I know. You got right,
Congratulations.
right. Your
With all the
MVP finally.
MVPs you got and everything, they finally made
Yeah.
it. But we'll see. I don't think they're gonna make a second next round, but that's
Well,
just
I
me.
was gonna say that's see their next opponent. Their next opponent is the Phoenix Suns, who ran through the Clippers 4-1. And unfortunately, I thought it was gonna be a close series because I thought Kawhi would be able to play. I mean, when Kawhi was there, it was 1-1 and it was close. Even game two, they were leading most of game two. But then, he became Mr. Glass Part Two, and unfortunately, he got hurt. And I love Kawhi Leonard. He'd be when I talked about Jimmy Butler, Kawhi Leonard would be one of my five too. And I'm talking about if he's playing. I'm talking
Right,
on the court. I,
right.
and the sad part is, what did I say? And it was happening. I said you will see that Kawhi Leonard would have a better series than Kevin Durant. And in the first two games, it wasn't even close.
Right.
Right? And he was because he's that guy. Like he actually is. You see them on the court. He actually plays better than Kevin Durant because he can play on both sides. He's gonna lock you up, and you can't stop him.
Hmm.
So, but he got injured, and then it was the Russell Westbrook show, which I will give him tons of credit. That guy you know, balled out of his mind. And he might have revitalized his career. I hope he stays there because I was really happy for him. But it's too much Devin Booker, man. That guy's tough. I mean, 25 points in a quarter. Like, what are we talking about? So,
Yeah.
so they disposed of them. Unfortunately, we got robbed of a series, and I'm really upset about it because I thought that was going to be
Right.
the best series of the playoffs, period, in terms of talent. Because I think who both those teams were finals worthy teams if they were healthy.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah,
No, I'm saying just they have $300 million on the bench. I mean, between Paul George, or a little bit over 300 million, but Paul George and Kawhi.
yeah,
Imagine that quad of Paul George. My
I know.
goodness,
They're
he
winning
leads
it.
quad. Well, they
They're
win it.
winning. Yeah, they're winning. I mean, that's what
So
I'm saying. They would have been the favorites to win, even with Kevin Durant.
right. Well, that's because Phoenix bench. I mean, so,
That's
so
terrible.
man, even bench guy. I forgot. Who's the center? The African dude. I forgot.
Bismack
But
Biyombo.
baby, it's Mambo. I forgot he was in the league. Right. So I was like, he playing playoff minutes. When I saw him, I was like, is that Bismack? I was like, but yeah. So it sucks. Robbed of the series. I thought this especially after game one, thought it
Yeah,
was gonna be the series, the rob of the series. I don't know what Clippers are gonna do, man. It's just Clippers got to
yeah, I
figure out
know.
that both these guys can't. You know what they should the Clippers should do, and then we'll move on. The
Yeah.
Clippers should not play both of them at like the last 2 months of the year of the season. Like does like, if they're in the playoffs or even close, maybe not play them for like the
So
two
you
months.
know what though? It's funny you say that. And this I was thinking about this being a topic for another day. I think that load management is actually causing these injuries because
Well,
your body is actually not prepared to play basketball. You're like, I play once and then I'm not, and then all of what's happening is they're playing physical. There's more physical, and then these guys are because think about how many people have gotten hurt in this first round. It's got to be like a record. Like
right, right.
everybody's hurt. Tyler Hero's out.
Yeah,
Giannis
Giannis
out.
got her.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Randall's hurt again, and then Kawhi's out, and it's just De'Aaron Fox. Thank goodness he's playing, but he got hurt, and Ja got hurt. Like all these guys are getting hurt, and I'm
yeah,
not saying, and they're real injuries, but I think what it's telling you is load management is garbage. Like it's not
yeah,
actually helping you not get injured. It
yeah.
doesn't
But
help you
yeah,
not get injured. You
yeah, I
can't.
got you.
We're humans, so you're
But
either gonna get injured or you're not gonna get injured. Load management is not gonna make you injured. You're gonna get injured or you're not.
But Paul George and Kawhi can go see a Baptist church and get baptized and still get injured, bro. It doesn't matter.
I
They're the ones
know,
who are injury-prone players, man. They
I
play
know,
anything. So that's
I know. Which is
right.
which is why they got like you said they got something, and that's gonna be off season. I'm really
Yeah,
interested to have the off season
yeah.
conversation, but that's
But we'll
later.
talk about it.
I
Yeah.
don't got to worry about that because my team's still in it, so no off season is for a while.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
So the other series, which is one of them is going on right now. Oh my gosh, by the way, this game is 113 to 113.
I saw that.
Bucks
Yeah.
Heat. I cannot believe the Heat have a chance at this
Wow.
point. This is insane. I gotta watch Jimmy Buckets. Look at Jimmy Buckets. Oh, he missed it. Sorry. Yeah, I'm surprised. But so the other series is the Golden State Warriors and the Kings. So you both of us were struggling, and it is. I think it's a 7 game series. Right now, the Golden State is winning by 9 going into the third, but I still wouldn't count Sacramento out.
Mm.
Um, I think it's been the best series, which we said it
Oh
was going to
yeah.
be. I was like, look, if you like basketball, you need to watch this series. You don't know about the Kings, you're gonna know about them soon, and much love for the Kings, but man, Golden State's tough. They're just, they are a chance for a reason. That's why when I was saying it's like my heart, I was like, I still think the Kings are a better team, but Golden State is experienced and they're champs and they're gonna figure it out. Remember, I was like, that's kind of what I think is gonna happen.
Yeah.
I think even if it goes to 7, let's say it gets extended 7, I still think Golden State would figure it out. Though Sacramento's right there. Like they shouldn't feel like
Yeah.
inferior to this team.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, let me go off on Mike Brown for a second, even though you're um so well, first before we start, great series. The Golden
hmm
State's battle tested.
Yeah.
I mean, Steph Curry is that guy, right?
hmm
But I'm glad people have seen Sacramento. I'm glad I'm seeing somebody we've been talking about for 2 years named De'Aaron Fox. I mean, I don't.
hmm
And if you guys didn't know him, I know he's lefty and looks kind of weird, like hard. And for some reason, lefty players look like it's weird as shooting, right?
Yeah.
But he's a stud. But to the NBA, a lot of people talk about NBA. Well, NBA coaches. That'll be a topic one day we should talk about. But you don't got to be like the best X and O guy, right? You got all
Yeah.
these assistants. You're usually NBA coaches are motivators. They know the game and everything. But the most important part, why you get paid all that money, is the end of the game. Okay, at the end of the game, putting up the plays, making sure you put the right substitutions in and the
Right.
right putting people into the right situation to win the game.
Right.
That is why you're getting paid
Right.
to be an NBA coach. You can coast through the first 2 quarters, right? Make
Right.
adjustments at halftime. But Mike Brown, what were you doing in the last 2 minutes in that series? Harrison Barr could have hit the damn ocean with a beach ball, but he
Yeah.
got the ball. De'Aaron Fox should have drove. So I don't know what play was drawn up. And then before that, it didn't look like they were doing a good job the last 2 minutes.
Yes. I actually, I was talking to one of my friends about this, one of our buddies. I blame De'Aaron Fox on that play.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that Golden. Everybody in the gym knows that De'Aaron Fox is going to take that shot. So don't you
Right.
think Golden State knows? And
Hmm.
so what happens was he got the ball, he got trapped, and he should have passed it immediately. And so he
Right.
didn't. He still tried to figure out a move, and then he
Fumbled
was
it. Yeah.
like, "Oh, okay, now I'll pass." And then Harrison Barnes had no other option but to shoot it because it was like half a second. When really, if you get into it quickly, he could actually have drove to the basket, or maybe swung the ball to somebody else, right? Like he would have had an option. But the second part, to your point about Mike Brown,
Mhm.
you know that Golden State actually has a pretty good defense.
Right.
When Steph Curry missed that shot, De'Aaron Fox got the ball, and it was the Golden State's defense was back. Let him go.
Right. Right.
I'm like, don't call timeout. It doesn't go get a bucket. You're not winning. If
Right.
you were winning or if it was tied, sure. You're losing. You need to score.
Right.
So
Right.
he should have let them go, and then he called the timeout, and then that was the play. And like, to your point, then that's the play you run. So go let him score. Like I don't care about time. Like score and then figure out how to stop him. Like you need to get
Yeah.
into the lead. And so I was yelling, "Don't call timeout!"
Right.
And he did. So
Well, yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Mike Brown's a great coach, hell of a job, but
mhm.
this is where playoff foot basketball happens, right? So
Yep.
Steve Kerr I mean, I don't know if it was him, but somebody drew a great play for Golden State. But that's going to be It's going to be a good series.
Yeah.
But again, God, that game four is going to be the game. The last 2 minutes
Yeah.
of game four is going to be the reason why the Kings don't win if they don't win
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, they're down 6 right now.
Yeah,
So that's we'll see. I mean, so it's still up for grabs, so we'll know more
no,
by then our next show who's going to be there. But my prediction of who's going to win the next round of these two, I still feel very confident in. I said the winner of the Warriors Kings is going to beat the winner of the
right.
Lakers, and I feel very confident in that. And speaking of which, the Lakers Memphis. Lakers
Yeah,
are up 3-2. Um, again, I was surprised. It's just matchups. Lakers were up 3-1. They lost today. They got blown out, which no one should be surprised. Their old team, they had to play in overtime. They
right,
flew across the country. It was a short day. It was short because East Coast time, so it was actually like a 4:30 start West. So it just
yeah,
it was a perfect storm, right? So
yeah.
I'm not surprised at that. I expect the Lakers to close it out in the next game. It'll be a good game, but I would not bet on them losing. Memphis is showing grit, but it just don't match up
No,
really
they don't.
well. Um, and they're a good team. I think Memphis would have beaten a lot of teams, but not this one. So
No.
so we'll see. I mean, but we don't know. It's not over yet. So it's 3-2 series there. There's going to be a 3-2 series here in this one. So
Yeah.
be interesting.
I mean, it will be interesting. What I'm interested in, why isn't Zaire Williams playing better more? I just don't.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
point.
because I was watching the game and he played well last year in the playoffs. I mean,
Yeah.
Jared Jackson is actually playing really well. I'm
Yeah.
actually happy to see that.
Yeah, he's good.
But Tillman, I'm like, okay, he's cool, but why isn't William playing? If he's a wing guy, plays a little defense. He's actually a good defender. I don't know, just
Yeah.
they're playing Roby more. I just was I don't, some of the coaching stuff from Taylor a little bit, but whatever. We'll see with that round. I don't think whoever wins, anyways, is not going to go to next past the next round, in my opinion. Whoever wins, so
Oh, wow. Sorry.
yeah,
Crazy just happened. Miami was
but
down 4. Just look at that. We're doing commentating. We are freestyling in our TNT sport. Who knows all
right.
sports? So right now, it was 117, 113 Milwaukee. They hit
Wow, I
free
saw
throws.
that.
And then what's the name? Gabe Vincent, by the way, undrafted player who was also on Team Nigeria. I don't know for a stat for you guys. That's where he was actually hooping. Um, he just hit a three-pointer, and
Right.
then uh Milwaukee got the ball to inbound, and I think they just turned the ball over. I don't know. They're going to
It,
review
loo-
it.
it looked like a foul on. Oh, is
It
that the
looked like a
foul?
foul. Yeah, it looked like a foul on Lowry, but I think they're reviewing it, and it might not be because they also
Oh
look like they just
wow.
turned it over. So I don't know. We'll see. This is crazy. Um, again, as a Knicks fan, I just know matchups. We have no chance of beating Milwaukee. Zero. And it's not because I think they're that great. It's just we all our advantages are not advantages. Miami, on the other hand, um, it would be tough. I don't know if we would win, but we match up very, very well. It would be 80 to 70 those games. So it would be straight
Right,
1990s, early 90s games.
right.
But anyway,
Well,
yeah. Go
uh,
ahead.
no, I think it's a foul, but we'll see.
Yeah,
But
we'll
they
see.
say no call. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
No, that's the last matchup, right?
Yeah, that's it, man.
Okay.
I think the playoffs have been great. Even the 3-1 or 4-1 matchups, like there was the Minnesota Denver games had two of like the best fourth quarters of the entire playoffs. Like
Oh
there
yeah,
has
yeah.
just been such great basketball. Jamal
Oh, yeah.
Murray hitting shots, Anthony Edwards hitting fadeaway shots over people. It was just
Yeah.
highly level. Sacramento, of course. It's just
First two
been
games was wild, bro.
yeah, it's just great, 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 great basketball.
Yeah.
So,
And
all right.
I'll tell you
Yeah.
before we leave, people that are not really NBA fans, right? I think I talked about this before. A lot of people have been tuned in. People I know that are like, wow, you've been watching the games. It's been crazy. So it's
Yeah.
good for the NBA with all the games.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think to your point, I think, we're not promoting. I don't work for the NBA, but um I it high level competition is entertainment, right? And so we love sports. I love to watch high level competition. And these guys in the NBA playoffs it's kind of it's hard to
Right.
match, man. These guys are killing each other out there legally,
Right.
of course. But
Right.
it's great, great competition. So, all
Right.
right, do you want to we have a final thought that we would like to say today or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
uh,
Boxing fans, I don't know if you guys got to see a fight.
hmm
Tank versus Garcia.
hmm
Right. I'll be honest, I was disappointed in that fight.
hmm
And the reason why I'm disappointed, so this is one thing with boxing, I get we trying to get hype. One of the things that frustrates me about, remember how boxing was back in the day? People would want to fight each other. Now people
Yeah,
use excuses not to fight each other.
right.
Like Crawford and oh my God, I just forgot his name.
Errol Spence.
Errol Spence, yeah, Crawford and Errol Spence. Why haven't they fought? Imagine if they would have 3 or 4 series back in the day, right?
hmm
Like Triple G Canolo, and so those guys. So Tank and Garcia finally fought. Was the
hmm
game's over? What happened? Or
No, they had a jump
okay,
ball, they said, and then they, I think they saved it. So there wasn't a foul like I thought.
okay,
And then somehow he just saved the ball there, and then they got
okay.
a foul.
Well, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, that was a huge play
Man,
there.
see, he's militant.
Yeah, yeah, look at
Yeah, he's heard me.
that.
But going back with Garcia, the reason why it was not a good fight, I wish and it's not because Tank is that dude, but Garcia had to lose all his weight in 2 months. I mean,
Yes.
he looked like he was lethargic and tired, and
Yeah.
it was just we were just robbed of a good fight. I get the hype,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it should have been scheduled 5, 7 months ago, right?
Yeah.
Where he can get into the weight and
Yeah.
everything like that, and then
Yeah.
Tank out here talking, and I get it, but he looked lethargic. He looked even tired, lethargic in the press conference.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, Ty and I are like boxing fans. We like boxing, right?
Big time.
We got to get back to the fight when people want to fight each other.
Yes.
It's like
Yes.
it's like everybody gets a belt and they avoid each other. It's It's just the most odd and weird thing. Or they start fighting. What I call up and coming guys, right? And then
Mm,
they might throw one, or you get like Canelo and Triple G part 19. You're like, bro, like, and like we've seen this fight already. Like,
right.
we need more. But just there are a lot of good boxers out there, and I just
Yeah.
want to see it, right? So that's just my final thought.
No, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, Mike Tyson was talking about it. He was on First Take the other day, and he was like, "Man, like, just want to see fighters fight. Like, fighters wanted to fight each other." It's funny though, even though he ducked Evander Holyfield for a while, but nobody want to talk about that. I'd have got on Mike. I'd be like, "Look, Mike,
Right,
you got a little scratch in sparring. That's why you couldn't fight Evander in
right,
his prime.
right,
All
right,
right, all right." But
right.
anyways, but I agree with you 100%. I love boxing and I know people like MMA and stuff and it's all right, but I'm a boxing person. I always will be. I love the sweet science. So yeah, I was happy Tank knocked him out, but to your point, I don't like the catch weight thing either. It's kind of it's not fair for the one that's person
Right.
that's naturally heavier. So my final thought, as I was trying to think, what do I want to talk about? It's not anything crazy. It's a topic that we don't talk about often, and it's hockey. So
Oh, okay.
I watch, I do watch hockey. I mean, it's hard because all the basketball's on, and um, actually, there's 2.1 seconds left on this in this game, and so what's been interesting is there's a guy named Connor McDavid. If you don't know who
Oh, yeah,
hockey is,
yeah.
I know you know, but like the people that are listening, this guy is an incredible player. Uh-oh. Oh!
Wow, they won the game.
Oh no, they tied it.
Oh, they tied.
Jimmy
Oh,
Butler.
wow.
Oh my gosh. I'm
Gosh.
sorry. You get to see this real time. Jimmy
Wow.
effing Butler. Sorry, I have to say it. Look,
Look at that shot.
let's watch this replay. Throws it over, catches it left-handed. Oh my
Wow. Wow.
with 1 second left. What a play. Sorry.
Right.
All right. You got to see my commentating skills. But um so the NHL has got a player, Connor McDavid, who is I'm not saying he's LeBron, but let's compare someone like he's like that, right? Like he when you watch LeBron play when he's prime, he athletically is different than everybody else.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Connor McDavid is the same thing. And he plays for Edmonton though, which, that's Canada and it's not Toronto. So nobody knows where you probably don't even know and no one even knows where Edmonton is unless you're Canadian. No offense to
Right.
Bob, I'm not, Canadians, I'm not no offense to y'all. But very interestingly enough, the Edmonton Oilers last year beat the Kings, and the Kings were playing them again. So it was like, okay, NHL, you need your person. No one watches hockey. You need your number one guy to get in. The Kings are not having it. That series has been great. So luckily, the Oilers are now up 3-2, but they were down 2-1, and they were down like 4-3 in game 4, and like had to scrap and get a goal with like I think the guy scored a goal with a minute left or something to tie. Um, so oh, this is why I'm saying this is NHL is one of the best playoffs to watch. Like the intensity, the speed. If you get a chance, don't have to watch a whole game. Turn it on for like 10 minutes. You might not even care who the teams and watch how hard these guys are playing. It's extremely entertaining. And Get the first round because it's almost over anyway. But once it starts getting the semifinals, I would tell you fans just tune into like a game or so. And then Team Bruins are pretty good. Edmonton might be getting through, but a couple sleeper teams is the Rangers and also the Avalanche, who they're having a tough matchup. They won last season. I think they
Right.
might be able to sweep. And then Vegas, of course, they're back being competitive. So this is my final thought on sports. And
Yeah. Well, of course, I know Conor McGregor. You should
yeah,
know him too. The Sabres should have
McDavid.
got him that.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah, I'm sorry,
know.
yeah, we got to
I
say Conor
know.
McGregor. Because
Yeah,
yeah, because the big Sabres should have got him.
I
They
know.
lost. He was a generational talent.
Yes,
But they
he
lost a
is.
lot. They lost in the lottery.
I know,
And they
man.
got Jack Eckley.
1 point. Sabres, sorry. The Sabres were 1 point away from the playoffs. Now, 1 point away from getting destroyed by Boston, really, because I mean that's what happened in Florida. But 1 point away of breaking the longest streak now since the Kings made the playoffs, the longest streak in professional
Well,
sports.
Oh yeah.
Playoff drought. The Sabres, my Sabres. It'll happen though. Knicks are winning, so it might happen for the Sabres one day.
Right,
Let's
right.
go.
All
All
right,
right.
folks.
All right, folks. Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode. You got to see some commentary, see how I'm trying to switch it. Got to keep it fresh for you guys. You get to
Right.
see live sports. Hopefully, we get to see what happens in this series. Orange and blue skies, everybody. And all right,
All
Thomas,
right.
man, great, good
Take care.
episode. We'll talk to you guys soon.
All right. Take care.
All right, bye bye.